Hello all. In this video, I am going to discuss about the NIRF ranking specific to medical colleges. NIRF ranking, it is one of the prestigious, authentic and reliable ranking system. Before going to the pros and cons of this ranking, let us discuss about the parameters which comprise of the ranking. NIRF ranking is conducted every year by Department of Higher Education under Ministry of Education under Government of India. It comprises of 5 parameters. First is teaching learning resources, research and professional practice, graduation outcome, outreach and inclusivity, and perception. So these 5 parameters comprises of the NIRF ranking. Teaching and learning resources comprises of 30% of scoring. Research and professional practice comprises of 30% of scoring. Graduation outcome has 20% weightage. Outreach and inclusivity has another 10%, and perception has 10%. So total it makes up to 100%, which yield the rankings for different medical colleges. Here this ranking, the same parameters, that is teaching learning resources, research and professional practice, graduation outcomes, outreach and inclusivity, and perception are used to score all the educational institutions. The same parameters used to assess all the institutions. Say for example, engineering colleges, medical colleges, law colleges, pharmacy colleges, all are assessed on this basis only. That is why it seems like when we are assessing which is the strongest animal in the forest, if we have to assess only 5 essential skills and we make these animals to line up, this analogy is similar to what happens in this NIRF system. That is, the same parameters are used to rank the educational institutions, but with small modifications. I repeat, it's small modifications, and these modifications are not complete as it is required. So let us look at weightage of each parameters and its subdivisions. As I told, teaching learning resources has 30% weightage, research and professional practice has 30%, outreach and inclusivity has 10%, perception has 10%. Each parameter has 100 marks. So that 100 marks will be again subdivided here. We have different parameters which have different marks. So we look at all these parameters in depth in coming slides. So first is teaching learning and resources. Under teaching learning resources, we have different parameters. For it, the weightage is 30%. The overall assessment metric comprises of the 5 different parameters. That is what given here. We have given in separate slides. So SS stands for student strength, including PhD students. So that carries 20% weightage out of the 100 marks. And FSR, that is faculty student ratio, that carries 30%. FQE, that is the combined metric for faculty with PhD, that carries again 20 marks, and FRU, that is financial resource utilization, that carries 30 marks. So how is this student strength weighted? Student strength is based on this formula. Here we have 20 marks, 15 marks for this parameter and 5 marks for this parameter. This is a parameter which comprises of number of seats approved intake and number of students enrolled. Basically it should yield equal results so that you will get maximum marks. But as we all know, whoever is working in medical college, most of the seats are filled. It is all under high demand, unlike other engineering colleges and other colleges where this parameter can yield some vacancy status, can attribute to negative scores. So in most of the medical colleges will have maximum scores only. So you will not get any sort of differences between medical colleges. So that carries the 15 marks out of this 20 marks. Then we have 5 marks is the total number of students enrolled for doctoral program, which is MS, MD, DNB, MCH and DM. Most important problem with this NIRF score is most of the scores favors the institutions which is larger. Let's say AIMS is an institution with maximum number of medical students in varying different courses. Invariably, AIMS has an extra advantage to score good marks. Many argue that as the number of seats increases, the institution would be good because it would have undergone lots of NMC, that is National Medical Council scrutiny. After that scrutiny only, they would have got that results. Then under teaching learning resources, the next important factor is FSR, that is the faculty student ratio, which again carries 30% weightage. So what is required here is the full-time faculty. We all know NMC mandates full-time faculties at a specific number. So most of the medical colleges will try to maintain the numbers, but ideally this indicator would have been better if they assess how many faculties are more when compared to the NMC recommendations. That would help us to identify a good institution. Here the PhD with master's degree, most of the medical college faculties will have the master's degree only, either MD or MS, then only they will score. So this indicator would have been developed for other institutions, but it has been kept to assess the medical college. The expected score for student faculty ratio is that is 1:10. If it is above 1:10, then they will give maximum marks, that is 30 marks, and minimum marks if it is less than 1:50, that marks will be 0 under faculty student ratio. Then the next important metric is FQE, that is the metric with the faculty with PhD, because MD, MS, all the postgraduate courses are equivalent to PhD, so that can be considered as equivalent. So most of them will be MD and MS. So this indicator also will not yield any difference between medical colleges. But here there is one important thing. They include the experience also. If the faculty is working in the institution, they divide it into 3 fractions, that is less than 8 years, 8 years to 15 years, more than 15 years. If the ratio is 1:1:1, then they will give a positive score for that, and that will be that FE will be added to the FQE. So basically Q stands for the faculty with PhD, FE means with experience. So both added will yield your FQE. So the last parameter under teaching learning resource is the financial resources and utilization, that carries 30 marks, and that 30 marks will be divided into 7.5 and 22.5 weightage. This is for the capital expenditure. This is for operational expenditure. For example, in AIMS, library and other infrastructure cost under this BC, and BO means they have given salary, conduction of seminars, workshop under this BO. So that carries 22.5 weightage. So all together put up will yield 100 marks for the teaching learning resource. That will yield 100 marks. Overall, that will have 30% weightage in NIRF score. We now move on to the research and professional practice. That is the second important parameter under the NIRF ranking, which carries the same 30% weight as of your teaching learning resource method. So this is shortly called as RP, that is research and professional practice. So again, this 30% weightage is divided into 4 parameters. PU means publications, QP means quality of publication, that is nothing but your citations, IPR means intellectual property rights, FPP means footprints of projects and professional practice. For this research and professional practice, 100 marks will be divided into 40 marks first for the publication alone. So 40 marks into publication. Here the publication is the weighted number of publications proportion to the faculty members present. So in this indicator, the institutions which yield maximum publications like AIMS cannot get an extra advantage because it is in proportion to the faculty members present. So this indicator is really percentage of publications per faculty member. So that will yield 40 marks. So this source is collected from the third party sources. Remember, whatever the information which was given in teaching learning resources was provided by the institution under the self-declaration. The institutions disclose data for the teaching learning resources. The disadvantage with that system is the institutions can falsify the data. The good thing about that point is that data is put up in the website. You can download any institutions, the self-declaration of the data for this ranking. For this research and professional practice, the data is not provided by the institution. They will get the data from the third-party sources. In NIRF, only the publications which are indexed in the following 4 indexing agencies are recognized. That is Scopus, Web of Science, Google Scholar, Indian Citation Index. These 4 indexing are accepted for NIRF ranking, and the sad part with that ranking is the most common or the number 1 indexing agency in medical field is PubMed, which is not considered in this ranking. Next we move on to the QP, that is quality of the publication, which carries 40 marks. Under research, we have 80 marks for publications and quality of publications alone. The 40 marks is again divided into 20 and 20. 120 is for the total citation count over the previous 3 years in proportion to the faculty members, and the next 20 weightage will be from the number of citations from the top 25 percentile of the publications compared to the total publications. So that will yield the 20 marks. So basically citations and the top 25 citations will contribute to the quality of publication. So these 2 parameters, that is publications and citations, equally contribute 40 marks. So totally 80 marks is over. The next 10 marks will be for intellectual property rights. Again, that is divided into 5 and 5. Patents granted and patents published. here we have to note an important point that under intellectual property rights, there are many parameters can be included. For example, copyrights are not included for NIRF rankings. Only patents are included that carries a weightage of 10 marks. Another 10 marks under research and professional practice is the footprints of projects and professional practice. That is again divided into 5 marks for the research funding earnings in the previous 3 years, and the FBD, that is the percentage of bed occupancy ratio in the hospital per day. So if a hospital is full, that may indicate there is a shortage of beds also. When there is shortage of beds, bed occupancy rate will be better. That indicator cannot be used to identify a quality of a good medical college. We move on to the third important parameter, that is the graduation outcome, which carries again 20% weightage under the NIRF score. Again, that also has 100 marks, which is divided into 4 parameters. The first 2 parameters carries 25 marks, and third parameter carries 30 marks, and fourth parameter carries 20 marks. The first parameter is the combined metric for placement and higher studies. This is the percentage of graduating students in the past 3 years who have been selected for higher studies out of the total graduating students. So how many get PG in that institution will contribute to the 25 marks under graduation outcomes. That the primary data has to be provided by the institution itself. Again, we have the second metric, that is the university examination. Out of the students appearing in the exam, how many have completed with the stipulated time is an indicator here. So most of the medical college students will complete their course within their speculated time without arrears. Nowadays, that is tradition, and this indicator cannot really differentiate the quality of one medical college with other. Also, if the examination system is very easy, allowing all the students, then in this indicator will yield highly biased scores. Again, the primary data has to be provided by the institution. The third and the maximum weightage under graduation outcome is the number of PG students graduated in total. Average number of PG students graduated over in the 3 years have this weightage. As I told earlier, larger institutions will have higher scores under the NIRF. Many parameters have advantage for larger institutions, yielding higher marks. So this is one indicator which favors the larger institutions. The last subdivision under the graduation outcome is number of students, super specialty students graduated. This is the number of postgraduates. This is the number of super specialty, that is DM and MCH students in the past 3 years. Again, these two parameters favor with institutions with higher number of PG seats and DM seats, not really looking at the quality of the course and quality of the hospital or medical college. But again, some may argue that to get those seats, they would have undergone quality checks from National Medical Commission. So indirectly, it may result in real assessment of the standards of a medical college. But in my personal opinion, this may not really differentiate quality between medical colleges. The fourth parameter is outreach and inclusivity, which carries 10% weight in overall score. But this 100 marks is calculated again by the 4 parameters, which is present here. So first is the percentage of the students from other states and countries, which carries 30% marks. Under that 30%, 5 marks for students from other countries. But the problem again here is most of the medical colleges fill their seats based on the seat matrix provided by the government of India and the concerned state governments. They give the seat matrix that highly influences the students coming from other states and other countries. So this indicator also will not differentiate between the medical colleges for quality. The second metric with 30 marks weightage under outreach and inclusion is the women diversity. The 30 marks under women diversity is divided into 15 marks for students and 15 marks for faculty. That is, what is expected is more than 50% of the students should be women students to get this 15 marks, and more than 20% of the faculty should be women to get this 15 marks. And this faculty should be in higher positions such as head of departments, dean and institution heads. So the students diversity and the women diversity will contribute 60 marks under the outreach and inclusivity. Now, the third parameter under outreach and inclusivity is the institution ability to adapt economically and socially challenged students. So under which we have a parameter with the percentage of UG students being provided with full tuition fee reimbursement. That is, when the institution or the medical college waives off full fees for persons who are economically challenged, then that will contribute 20 marks. So again, the primary data will be provided by the institution. And lastly, under outreach and inclusivity is the facilities for physically challenged students. So basically, the ramps, lifts and other facilities for physically challenged, separate toilets and its availability are questioned under this subdivision. All together will yield 100 marks for outreach and inclusivity. The last parameter for NIRF ranking is the perception. The weightage is 10% for perception, and this perception marks are scored very mysteriously, rather non-transparently from the feedback of the employers, professionals from the reputed institutions. So based on that, peer perception score will be calculated, and that will yield 100 marks, and that will give ranking weightage of 10%. The problem with this perception is most of the times a halo effect will be created on a particular institution which has a good reputation. People will neither visit the institution nor know about the institution, where they have a positive view about the institution and they provide a positive data. So again, which can be from the previous rankings or from the new recent achievement. So all can give a positive perception. Unless it is fully transparent how it is calculated, this perception remains a mystery only. So we have seen all the 5 parameters for the calculation of NIRF ranking. That too we have discussed in specific to medical college ranking. Here it is the list of institutions participated in the NIRF scoring. Overall, in 2024, around 2,800 institutions participated. Under medical colleges, 182 institutions have participated. Now, according to 2024, there are about 820 medical colleges present. So, only 1/5 of the medical colleges have participated, and only top 50 has been ranked. So, the issue here is only 1/5 of the medical colleges participate, and out of which only 50 institutions are ranked. This ranking will not help the students to decide on the standard of institutions after 50. So which means the top 50 means out of 820 means 1 out of 16 medical colleges comes under this ranking system. 15 out of 16 medical colleges never appear in this ranking system. So nobody knows about their quality. So students cannot decide which medical college is ranked better and which one to choose for their course. So what they need to do is they need to publish the rank of all the medical colleges. So now what are the advantages of this NIRF? I told it is the most prestigious ranking system for medical colleges. It is more authentic. It is reliable in the beginning itself. Now what are the real advantages of this ranking system is, despite the flaws in the ranking system, we need some ranking system to assess medical colleges. Something is better than nothing. Even though majority of the data are collected from the institution itself, the data which is provided by the institution is available online. So we can access all those information provided by the institution to the NIRF agency can be downloaded from the website. You can see all the top 50 medical college data from the website. So this is the data collected from the internet for AIMS Delhi. How many seats are present? How many PG seats are present? Here it's a total actual student strength and the placement of students. Now what are all the disadvantages of NIRF ranking system? Firstly, majority of the parameters are not specific to medical colleges. We have various different parameters to assess the quality of a good medical colleges. As I told earlier, large institutions carry an extra advantage because majority of the parameters indirectly favor large institutions. No physical verification is present that makes this ranking weaker, in contrast to NAAC, where they have a physical verification team and they verify the data which is provided to the agency. So the data accuracy is questionable. As I told earlier in the previous slide, not all institutions participate. Only 182 out of nearly 820 medical colleges in India participated. Top 50 has been ranked here. That makes more than 90% of the medical colleges out of this ranking system. The major problem with this ranking system, what I feel is, it neither takes care of the healthcare standards of the medical college, nor the standards, nor the welfare of the faculty and students. Each department in the medical college performs in a different way. So individual departments need to be assessed separately. Based on that, scores should be developed. But there is no individual department level infrastructure assessment. The patient load and quality of treatment is not considered. The bed occupancy proportion was considered, but the overall patient load and quality decides the learning in medical college. So that is not considered. And communication skills and other soft skills which are taught in a medical college for the medical students are not evaluated in this NIRF ranking. The NIRF scores does not consider co-curricular and extracurricular activities performed by the students. Then the placement and salary are not the real indicators. Most of the times, medical students, after completing their course, they don't work. They go for entrance preparation. So placement and salary does not really impact the score, and only NEET marks after a period can be an indicator, but NEET marks is not included. For an argument's sake, if you include the salary for a doctor, many of the service-minded students who get very less pay in a rural area will make up a poor NIRF score. So that cannot be a indicator as like engineering colleges where placement and salary plays a huge impact in the institutional scores. Then we have a perception score which has 10 percentage weightage, which usually gives halo effect for some institutions. They have created an impression that they are the best medical colleges in India, so that people will tend to remain perceive the same. Also, this perception score is not transparent. The examination patterns and learning process is not considered. So how rigorously examination and what is the performance of the students both need to be considered for a good educational institution. Even though the first parameter is the teaching learning resources, the learning process is not properly scrutinized, and the institution's value building or the ethical values of the institutions, how much ethical values the institution encourages the students, and how much the institutions by itself are showing the way to become an ethical member of the society. So that is not a part of this NIRF score. And community and welfare services, so how the institution is into the community, working for the community, that also need to be incorporated for a assessment of a good medical college. It's not complete, not comprehensive, and not fair also. Some essential scores are missing out. But as I told earlier, something is better than nothing. So we need ranking system for all the medical colleges. NIRF ranking is the most prestigious, authentic, and reliable ranking system in India. And when it comes to assessment of the medical colleges, it has missed out many major parameters, and there are bias in their methodology. And hope these parameters are corrected over years, and this ranking system will help the students to blindly choose one institution to study. All these things will be possible when this feedback really reaches the NIRF. Hopefully you would have got a better idea with this video on how NIRF ranking works and how these parameters can be bettered and how to get a good score, how to contribute for the institution. All this you would have learned out of this video. If you like this video, please click on the like button. If you find it is useful to your colleagues or your friends, please share this video to your friends. Thanks for watching.